Hey guys, this is Gino here, and I'm coming at you with a tutorial, which I've never done on this channel before, so this is going to be interesting. Today I wanted to show you guys two possible ways of making a timer in Unity. So let's get right into it. So right now, all I have is a little timer. I have a little text here. I have a random plane that I put in here for no reason at all, and a main camera and directional light. So let's get started with the first way, which is using Timespan in C#. So I'm going to make a empty game object. We can rename this to timer. It doesn't really matter though. And then add a script to this. So I'm gonna name it, let's call it tutorial timer, and add that to the game object. All right, so let's jump into this. So I'm gonna start off by making a couple variables. So I'm gonna make these public, because this is a tutorial. It's not like this is about to be a game or anything. So I think it's TMP text, and I'm gonna call it timer text. And then let's also make a public float called, let's call it duration. And then I like having another one private float, and that'll be current duration. This doesn't need to be private. And actually, I'll expose this so we can see it in the editor. But in our start function, we're going to say current duration equals duration. And then here, we're going to say if current duration is less than 0, current duration equals 0. Else, then we'll say current duration minus equals time dot delta time. All right, so let's go back to our Unity editor here. Okay, so I have my game object here. I thought I renamed that. So in the timer text, we're gonna put our UI element here, and then in duration, let's say like 72. And then when we hit play, we should see current duration equal to 72 and then start counting down. Alrighty, so that works. So then under here, I'm gonna say timespan time equals timespan span from seconds current duration. And then we're gonna say timer text dot text equals time to string. Yes, that's correct. And then we need to put the little format thingy in here. So we're gonna say minutes, and then we're gonna say seconds, and that should be good. So let's see how this looks. Yep, so 72 seconds. Durations is in seconds, by the way. And then it starts counting down for us. So let me put it to 10 seconds here. So it's going from 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it should just stay at 0 because I keep resetting it to 0 here. So that's the time span way, which is like the easier or the less code intensive way. Timespan does have issues though. So you can see here we're using system now. So this could be an issue for you, like using a new like sort of namespace. Because let's say you wanted to debug.log random.range, Sure, let's say that. So now we're getting the issue. Random is an ambiguous reference between Unity engine.random and system.random. So that's saying that Unity engine has a random and system has a random as well, and it's not sure which ones to use. So an easy fix for that is to come up here, say using random equals Unity engine dot random. So basically we're like telling it explicitly which random to use. And that would fix that issue. But you know, if you don't want to deal with like conflicting namespaces, then I guess using the time span isn't the way for you. So yeah, that's time span. Now we can do some math. So we can make a void calculate time, and this is going to take in the current. It's going to take in a float, and we're just going to name it current duration because that's what we're going to be passing into it. So let me comment all this stuff out actually. All right, so here we're gonna let's make a float called minutes. Let's set this to 0. And then let's make a float called seconds. Equals 0. Or I guess I'm using MM and SS, just shorthand. So this is the more mathy way, more math intensive, but it's still doesn't add that many more lines of code. So we're gonna say MM equals current duration divided by 60, because obviously there's 60 seconds in a minute. And then we want seconds to equal whatever's left over. So we're gonna say SS equals current duration mod 60. So division is division and modulo is like remainder. So to get the remainder of the division that we're getting up here, basically. Also, I think this should be floor. We can say floor to int if we want. I don't think we need to. I usually just use floor. And then the same for this one. We're gonna floor everything because we don't want any like decimal points or anything. So we'll floor that as well. And then we could say string display text equals, we could say, I think we could just do this plus this plus this, right? But the format is probably going to look super weird. So actually, instead of a void here, we're going to say string, return that string. Yeah. And then here, we're going to say timer text dot text equals, not that, equals calculate time. Current duration, pass that in there. So without the formatting, let's see what this looks like. It's on 10 seconds right now. I'm probably going to switch it to like over a minute so we can see. Yeah, it looks kind of weird, you know, it's like single digits. That's not really the timer we want, unless it is the timer you want, you know what I mean? So if I made this 72, so this one doesn't look that bad until we get under like double digits. So we're going to do some formatting. So we're going to say, we're going to use string.format, which is a formatting function. So in here, we put the string that we want to display. And then we put, all right, I'm gonna just type it out and then explain it after. So this would be 1. So the first number in these curly braces is like the argument, which let me pass in the arguments too. So we're gonna have mm and then we're gonna have ss. So it's kind of like an array. So argument 0 is so it's gonna be here. And then after this colon, that's like the format I want. So I want 2 digits. So I just put 0, 0 there. And then this colon here is the colon between the numbers, this right here. And then here is the next argument. So 1, so 0 was 1 would be ss. So that's the formatting that we're gonna use. And that should look good when we hit play. Yep, so now we have our little timer using math. So you can set that to count down. So yeah, that's 2 ways to make a timer in Unity. One using Timespan, which is C sharp, and one using a more mathy way. You can also add hours. I don't know if you want hours in your game, but let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. So to add hours to this version is pretty easy. We just do a little bit of that, and then we should also have hours as well. So now it's counting down and we have the little hour thing. How many seconds are in an hour? 3,600, I think. Let's put this to 40, sure. And we should have an hour timer, which is pretty neat. To add hours to the mathy way, it's a little bit more complicated. So we have and ss here. So I'm gonna put an if statement if is greater than 60, because we know there's 60 minutes in an hour. So if we have greater than 60 minutes, that means we have an hour. And I think maybe we want this to be greater than or equal to 60. So then we're gonna say, let's put an HH here too. So then we're gonna say HH equals, yeah, that looks good. So like, let's say we have 60 minutes, then HH would equal 60 divided by 60, which is 1. So we have 1 hour there. And then obviously we don't want minutes to still show 60. Like if we have 60 minutes in 1 hour, that doesn't make sense. So we're gonna say equals math f dot floor. Sorry, I was just autofilling. That's not what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna say mod 60. And you can put 60 as a constant. You can make that a constant, like seconds in a minute or something like that. So you don't have to keep writing 60 here. So basically we're gonna set hours to minutes divided by 60 and then reset minutes over to whatever's left. So when I hit save, oops, I did not hit save there. What the heck did I just do? All right, so I hit save here. Let it load in. And then this should work the exact same way. Just kidding, it doesn't, because I never put it in the string format. So we're gonna say this, 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 and then we're gonna put HH here. You could also have an if statement, like if, so I have it set to 0 up here. So you could say like if HH is not equal to 0, then we use the triple format. Otherwise, use just the minute second format. But I don't feel like writing that here, so you guys can probably figure that out. So let's hit play and see what that's looking like. Nice. So we have an hour, 9 minutes, and 56 seconds. And that's how I'd probably go around adding hours to this as well. So that's my first tutorial. If it was trash, I guess you guys could let me know. But I hope this helps somebody out there, because I was trying to figure out the best way to do a timer, and I stumbled across Timespan. I was like, this is a cool alternative to writing a mathy function, and it's like 2 lines of code. So, yeah, I hope this helps somebody out there. All right, peace.